Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Cake. Before we jump into the TA, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new to this channel, why not hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all the latest videos. Also turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video when they do come out, and leave us some feedback down below. We're always happy to hear back from you guys. Okay, so let's get into the price action. So there's a few things I want to talk about. We don't have a lot of price history here once again with this token, so it is quite difficult to put the context of these waves within the bigger picture. But from what we do have here, it is basically there's two ways that I'm looking at it. And first way is either that we're looking at this as a corrective structure, as a W, X, Y, X, and they're potentially looking for another 3-wave move to the downside here to make this Z wave. So this Z wave can take a few shapes, and we need to just bear in mind that we can get a few things playing out here if this does play out. The 1-to-1 area would be this $1.17, and that would be the 1-to-1 of this W wave. So that would be looking for the potential to actually come down to that 1-to-1. It can potentially extend as well, so we'd have to just be a bit careful within this move here. Within this move, we can see it if we're looking at it like this. We can see that we've been obeying this channel, and every time when we've touched onto this top point, we've faced rejection. So we've had multiple touches on the top here. The bottom side, we've only had 3. However, this top end, we've had quite a few. So we've got to bear in mind, it is always possible that at some point this top trend line is going to break, and we could actually look to break through it and then look for a bullish potential here. But until we get that sign, we need to just be aware that this has offered us resistance many times in the past, and it is possible we could face another rejection here and fall away deeper into this channel. So this is the one way that we are looking at the structure. We can also slightly change this and look at it as a potential 5-wave move. This would be the other way that we're looking at the move, where we look at this as a 1-2 into this high point here, and then we have a 1-2 third wave into this low, 4th, and an extension within this 5th wave. There is a couple of ways of reading this, so we just got to bear in mind that these can be slightly out at times, and only once we get a bit more structure here will these be validated or invalidated. Basically, within this move, moving back above this 547.6 and this 9.47447 area would invalidate the structure. So until we actually do move above there, it is possible that we could actually follow this structure as well. This one looks as it's slightly different. So within this, we'd be looking at a 5-wave move. We didn't reach this 1.618, though it is possible to actually have a 5-wave move where we don't actually come down to this 1.618. So we're going to just be monitoring this for the time being. It is still viable by counting the waves, so it is just a possibility that we're keeping an eye on. So within this, basically, we could be looking at a completed 4th. Alternatively, we could actually have another leg to the upside here, and this 4th could extend out, and basically we could form something like this, where we form this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave to the upside. So this is something we always need to be aware of. It is also possible that within this we get a different kind of structure in here, potentially we could get a triangle in here if we look at this as a zigzag. I don't really like the structure as a zigzag, but we could get some kind of a more complex move in here as a flat or something to that effect. However, we don't have enough information for that either at this point. Unfortunately, we've got to wait for some of these confirmations within this move. So we could see that this would be possible, because we could look at this as an A wave, and then potentially we've completed a B wave into these lows here, and we could look for that C wave. Though if that's the case, what we'd be looking for is actually looking to hold on to this zone here, this 3115. Losing this zone would actually make me would indicate to me that we're potentially heading down towards this $2.52 to this $1.50 range, and that would be looking at this as a potential 4th wave into here. So the way that we would be doing this, there's a few ways. If we wanted to look at this as just a normal impulse, what we could still have within this move here until we actually cross back above this high point, is we could always just be forming a 5-wave move to the downside. So until we actually cross back above this high point here of $4.12, it is possible this move could just break down and we could actually look to complete a 5-wave move to the downside. Yeah, this move is indicating that we should have some additional upside, but we'll need to see whether the subwaves actually push to that upside as they have indicated. If this is the case though, if we have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 down into here, we would have to allow for the fact that we should be getting an additional 4th and a 5th wave. So this would push us probably a bit deeper into this zone. Or for this current structure that we have, if we had to actually break down from our current location, our impulsive trigger would be this 2.505 region, and that would be the zone I'd be looking for ideally for this 3rd wave. It doesn't have to come down to this area. Alternatively, sometimes they can extend and also push further, but we'd want to see good structure within this to count it as a 3rd if it doesn't reach this 1.618. It is, like I said, possible though we could look as that as a target, in which case we'd be looking potentially to push down in the 5-wave move as we have marked here. Like I said, pushing back above this 4120 would actually invalidate this potential, and then we'd have to look at this structure slightly different if we look at it in a 5-wave move. In that case, we'd have to take this as an A, B, and a C into this low, and then potentially that we're going to form a diagonal shape within this. Once again, there's not enough information here to say this is what's playing out yet. We'd need a bit more structure, and what we'd be looking for is this to potentially become a zigzag within here and then break down. This can, if this is the case, it can actually cross above this 4120. We just wouldn't be able to cross above this 5476. If this does play out, what we'd be looking for is a wedge shape pattern to develop here, and then we'd be still looking to target out lower than this low point here of this $2.485. So this is just something that we're playing out. We're going to go into the subwave counting shortly. I just want to give you some of the macro views of what I'm looking for here. Like I said, though, it is also possible that we could still be within an ABC pattern and looking to actually target into this red box area. If that's the case, then basically within this, off of the current structure, our 1-to-1 target range would be this $6.84. If we do look to push up as a ABC pattern within this, though it is also possible we could have more of a B wave to play out here. So there's a few things we've got to just give a bit of time to develop. If I switch over here, I'll show you what I'm talking about within this. Basically, if we look at this move in isolation within here, we can count this as an A, B, C into this high point, then effectively an additional 3-wave move to the downside here. So we could argue that we should be looking for a 5-wave move to the upside here, so 3, 3, and a 5. Alternatively, this could just become a 3, 3, and a 3, and it could be a WXY, in which case what we could form here is either, instead of having a C wave as a 5-wave move, we could form a 3-wave move to the upside and then look to actually break down after that. So these are all possibilities for as long as we hold this 3115 range. As long as we hold that range, it is possible we could still look for a bigger move to the upside here. 686 would be the 1-to-1 target we'd be looking at, though we'd probably need to be looking out for some of these previous high points here if we do push this high, because it is possible we could actually get rejected off of there and look to fail to push up to that 1-to-1, because these C waves or these Y waves, the minimum sort of area we'd want to travel is this 0.618, and we can see that this 0.618 is actually right on these high points here. So if we do get a push up here, this is an area I'd be cautious with, because we could actually face rejection. This C wave could actually complete there, and then we could actually look to break down. So it's just something we need to be aware of within the structure. So I'm going to come down here into the smaller time frames now. Okay, so within this move, what we'd be looking at here is the potential that we have a breakout here. And what we'd be looking for is the potential of having a bigger 5-wave move to the upside. So the target range for this 5-wave move currently would be this $4.15 to this $4.01. So it is possible that we could actually still see some extension here to the upside. So what we'd be looking at here is effectively within this structure. This would become our wave 1 here. This would be a 2. We'd have 1, 2, all of this would be a third, fourth, and an extension within this fifth wave. It is also possible to count this slightly different, where we have extension within this third wave still, and we're still within this third wave. However, this seems to be the most neat way of counting it. Currently, if we start to get some more extension up, it might become more evident that potentially we have this as a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and then we actually start to push up without forming a bigger corrective structure for this wave 2. Looking at the size of the structure that is developing here, it does seem more likely that it is tied in with this wave 2. However, we need more confirmation of that. Within this, though, what we need to be aware of is we need confirmation of this fourth wave to come in, and what we'd be waiting for is basically to make sure that we find the support within this move, because sometimes what we can get within the structures, we can get moves that do this, where they come up to this 1.618 as an ABC, and then we fail to form this fourth wave, and it moves back below this the wave 1 high point. So we need to just bear in mind that it is possible that we could still invalidate this as a 5-wave move. So only really once we get this fourth wave come in will we have clarity as to whether we're going to get this additional fifth wave. So we need to wait for that support to kick in for this fourth, and then see how we get this structure to the upside here. If we fail to develop it there, we could actually be looking to have a completed B wave here, and we could actually just look to break down like we were talking about in the 5-wave move. So whether we want to look at it as a WXY or potentially a 5-wave move to the downside, this could just be a connector wave, and then we actually break down and look to set a new low. So within this current structure to the downside, it is quite overlapping, and we can argue that potentially we have that we have potential to have a triangle within this, but it would be solely based on holding this low point here, this low point at $3.60, and also if we're going to look at it, so basically what we would be looking for, if I can just find it, there it is. There is the possibility we're forming a triangle within this, where this could become a C wave. We look for that D wave and an E wave, and then basically within this structure, this would fall between sort of contracting lines, diagonals here, and we'd be looking for this is an A, B, C, potentially to come up for a D wave, and then to look to push down for that E wave. So like I said, though, the invalidations of a triangle within this shape would be this $3.81 to this and crossing this $3.60. If we cross that 360 and the 381, it would invalidate the potential of a triangle. If we do get a triangle play out like this, I would then think that it's more than likely tied into this wave 2. So this would actually then look to be our fourth wave correction within here, and then we'd be looking for this target zone here of this 4.15 and this 4.014. so that would be where I'd be looking out for that structure to play out. However, should we get a deeper correction here, it is also possible we don't get a triangle here, and this could just be it just could be a deeper move. It's possible we could still move down towards this $3.50, and what I'd be looking for then is, instead of having this as a triangle within this structure, what we would then be looking at is the potential that we have. This is just a connector wave here. We were going to get this as a W, this is an X, and then we're going to look to push down for that Y wave. So if we do get that, what we would want to see is basically this is a W, this is an X, and then we'd be looking for that Y wave to the downside. So if that's the case, our target zone for that roughly would be this 121, which would actually bring us very close to invalidating this wave 5, as we've got it marked up here. So if we did move down to that point, that 121, it would actually invalidate it, and we'd have to then start asking ourselves whether we have further extension here. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we could have, so what we could have instead then is the fact that this becomes a wave 1, this is a 2, this becomes a wave 1, this is then a 2. So if we retrace back down past this, and then we look for that wave 3 to play out. So if that's the case, if we were looking for the potential of this extending further like this, what we'd then be looking for is the support zone we'd be looking to target out is, if I can just get on this low point, let's get up to this high point here. Let's slide this across here. So if we were looking for continuation to the upside and we were looking at this potentially setting in another location for a B wave or a wave 2, what we could then be looking for is this zone. You have this $3.50 all the way down to this 3.277. For as long as we hold that range, we could potentially see this progress as a 1 2 1 2, and then we look to set up for that third wave push to the upside. Though this is all reliant on, like, all bullish counts that we have at this time are reliant on holding this 3.115 zone. So if we lose that, basically, then obviously all these counts fall apart. For as long as we hold above this 3.497, we can look at this just as a regular 5-wave move. If we do lose that, then basically this target zone that we're talking about here, this 3.501 to this 3.277, that would be our sort of last line of defense before looking to see whether we're actually going to continue to the downside. If we lose this 3.277, it becomes less likely that we're going to actually progress to the upside, though really the invalidation only comes by crossing this 3.115. So we just got to keep an eye on this. We'll give it some time to play out, but I do think that we've got a fourth wave developing here. Only by breaking down past that wave 1 high, like I said, would that invalidate, in my opinion. So yeah, I think we've still got this potential of either a triangle developing here, or we could just get a more complex correction as a WX and a Y, and then we actually look to push to the upside. It is also possible this X wave isn't completed, and this is an A, B, C, so we come up first for this X higher, and then we play out sideways for this Y wave, and this just becomes a W, then this becomes an X wave, and then we get another 3-wave move to the downside for this Y wave. So we'll keep you up to date as we see the moves happening, but basically with this structure, if we do form a 5-wave move here, then what we can then anticipate is to get a either we would have to get either this could then become a wave 1 of a bigger trend move, and then we'd be looking for a wave 2 to the downside, or alternatively this could just become a an A wave. Then we'd look for that B wave correction, and we'd still look to push to the upside. So we just need to give it a little bit more time, see how this reacts. If we do complete a 5-wave move into that box area, what our next target zone then would be for support, if we came up into the center of that box, is then we'd be looking at this 3.562 towards this 0.618, and then sort of the lower range of this would be this $3.30. This 0.618 would be quite an interesting zone if we do retrace back onto these sort of previous resistance areas here. It's possible we could actually look to push down there and then sort of push away. Once again, once this 4th wave has formed, that might also be an area we look to travel if it's going to be a shorter B wave, like a flat or something like that. Then we could potentially come and settle in the same range as this previous 4th wave. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. We need a bit more time for these moves to play out so that we can get a more accurate understanding of what's going on. But I hope that you found this useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and why not leave us some feedback down below. Really appreciate it, guys. In the description below, you'll also find a link to the Discord. Why not come and give it a look? It's free to join, so once you're in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. Will be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Okay, so we're going to leave it there. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. We'll see you in the next video. Take care out there, everybody.